So who put Icey on for? Was it Kylie Jenner?
Yeah, so Kylie used it for the cosmetic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when Rihanna had used it for her revealing.
You're
like,
saying
the
this
lip
very
gloss.
nonchalantly, by the way.
No,
like that's a
it's-
big deal.
No, I'm still it's a blessing. You feel me?
You went
Like,
from
I could
Kylie Jenner to Rihanna.
Yeah, to
Okay.
Rihanna, and then
Did you meet Rihanna?
I did at the Diamond Ball. She was
was
like,
that?
"You're a badass."
Did she?
Yeah. So I was like,
love that.
"Hey, like the real bad gallery said, I am a badass."
So
but
that
I
confidence was
loved
like,
her.
yes.
I love her, and she's somebody that I've always looked up to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, even with like her body and like how she's carried herself, things that she's gone through and stuff. Like, I always like look onto her. And also, like, her music has a lot of influence on my personality too.
Yeah.
You know, so her, and then Beyonce used Icey for her campaign too. So
Okay, so Kylie Jenner, Rihanna, Beyonce.
yes,
Wow.
3 powerful, beautiful women.
Wow. Hola, welcome to Growing Up Latina. I am your host, Alyi V. And before we get into today's guest, I just want to take the time to really thank all the subscribers, everyone that's been liking, commenting, just all the support that I've been receiving. It's been incredible. If you're new to the show, please do not hesitate to like, subscribe, DM, hit your girl up. Let us know who you want to see on Growing Up Latina. Now, let's get into today's guest. I'm super excited. I'm a true fan, and I just want to give a warm welcome. Mi gente, give a warm welcome to Harlem's princess, Melii. Hey. How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm doing great. And you?
I'm good. You've been outside.
Nah, I've been inside, but
Yeah, you've been inside?
yeah,
I've seen you traveling, but then I've also seen you in the studio.
Yeah, I've been working, if that's what you mean by outside.
Outside. So let's take it from the beginning. For anyone who doesn't know who you are, would you consider yourself a singer or a rapper?
I consider myself like an all-around just artist. Like, I'm very free-flowing, and like anytime in the booth, like, it don't matter the beat, I'm just always gonna like just either sing or rap on it, just flow. So I don't like to box myself in at all.
I love that. I love that. Now, where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Harlem.
Yeah, shout out to Harlem. Me too. Now, what part of Harlem? Because there's 2 sides to Harlem.
135th Madison.
Okay.
5th.
All right, so that's like right on the cusp.
Yeah, that's like right there, but it's like in between everything. I went to PS 197, and then from there, Thurgood Marshall Academy, and then I went all the way to the Heights, so I saw like a whole different side.
What was the difference in the sides? Like, what was Harlem versus the Heights?
Harlem was definitely like, it wasn't like as many like Hispanics. Well, there's a lot of Hispanics in Harlem and stuff, but when you go to the Heights, it's like you see people playing dominoes outside. That's the only difference. But then like you go to Harlem, you see them playing chess or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like the same, but.
When did you move from Harlem to the Heights?
No, I didn't move.
You didn't move.
No,
so
no,
you
no,
were
I
just
went
going
to
to school there.
Yeah, I was
okay, so
talking
you were
about
traveling back and forth. Okay, awesome. Where's your family from originally?
My family are Dominican.
Okay.
Yeah, like my dad has like Cuban, Dominican.
Okay, so you're a little bit of Cuban, Dominican.
That's in my blood,
It's
but
in your blood.
when it comes to like, it's Dominican.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was the last time you've been to Dominican Republic?
Like 2 months ago.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
How
I'll be
was
outside
it?
there.
Yeah, you was outside there. You was outside there. How was it over there?
It was fun. Like, I got to be with my family. We went to like do rios and stuff, you know, cook on the, you know, how they be cooking with the big calderos and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was like refreshing. And then, you know, the teteos, going to the like the hoods and stuff. It's always a vibe.
Yeah.
Like, going outside.
I love DR. The last time I went to DR was actually last year for my birthday. I went to, oh my God, why am I drawing a blank? There's a resort there, the Sanctuary. I went to the Sanctuary. It's in Capcana.
In what?
Capcana,
Oh,
DR.
Capcana. Okay.
And it's really, really beautiful. And I had an amazing time. But my dad is Dominican, so he's from Santiago.
Oh, Santiago.
Yeah. So when I go see him, like I always say, like the food over there is super organic. It's like the
Yeah.
best food ever. So
Yeah.
I appreciate DR. I love DR.
I love that. So you're more like in Santiago than like the capital and
Yes.
other stuff. Okay.
Yes. Papi's from Santiago. Mommy's from Puerto Rico.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a mix over here. But when I see my dad, he takes me everywhere. Like, we honestly, the whole family is kind of scattered everywhere in DR.
Everywhere. Yeah, that's how it would be. Because my sister's in Santiago too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so when I'm out there, it's definitely a different vibe from the capital.
Dope. Now, let's talk about how you started into the music.
Yeah.
Like, when did you, what were your parents listening to in the household?
My mom was always, well, my dad, he's a musician himself.
Dope.
So he always had like instruments laying around, guitars, pianos and stuff. And then he'll always play like merengue and stuff like that. So I'll also hear a lot of like Juan Luis Guerra.
Love.
Yeah, so I love him. Ricardo Arjona, I don't want to say his name wrong. I was listening to La India.
I love La
Las
India.
Chicas del Gang, stuff like that.
What about, let me really test you out right now. Quinito Mendez?
It depends on the songs. Yeah, I'll have to know the songs, honestly.
Okay.
I'm like that with everything, though.
Okay.
Not even just...
Yo, papi listened to Quinito Mendez growing up, so I was always just like, hay un chica, and bikini, and it was like this whole thing. No, I swear there's a whole song about it. So Quinito Mendez was like my NSYNC, my Backstreet Boys, but they were a whole vibe growing up for me.
Yeah, I'll have to like probably hearing it because I'm that girl. Like if you turn like anything on, I'm dancing. That's something like my family's big dancers. Like I'm a salsa queen, so
your family parties are they good.
They be party.
So okay, so your dad was a musician.
Yeah.
So
still,
was that
still?
Okay, still a musician. So was that your first introduction to music?
Yeah,
like
with my
him?
dad.
Okay, so he taught you. Was it like tones? Was it like?
No.
Did you guys have like a father-daughter moment where he was like, all right, come on, let's do it like this?
No, honestly, I grew up just my dad like always being into music. You know what I'm saying? Or like my family, like a regular Dominican thing to do is like when you dancing and stuff, the little, you know what I'm saying? So when we'll be all in like family parties and stuff, like my dad, I don't know if it's just my family, but like we'll always have like a room where all the cousins is there and then the aunts and uncles.
Girl, that's
over
everybody's
there.
family.
No, but hold up, but like all of my uncles would like come in and be like, oye, lo que yo te voy a decir. So like they're always like, you know, rapping or doing something. So that was like really a thing with our family. Like we'll do dances. I don't know if that's a thing.
That's a thing. Yeah. No, that's a thing. But were you shy or were you like in the party dancing? Were you like...
Nah, I was never shy. I feel like my family, like even my dad's side, like they're just all so like creative and always like either the little kids was rapping, one was making up a dance, the other one was, like I have this one cousin, I love him to death, Brian. He's the only one I could really draw. But like when I say draw, like he's a real like, artist. Yeah. So like if you would walk into his room, like, you know, he was jamming a J. Cole and like just drawing and stuff.
That's dope. Okay, so your family is definitely filled with a lot of creative. Yeah. There's a lot of creative energy there. What about your mom?
My mom, she's, I think like more of like where my personality is, where like me gusta bailar, you know, like I always be ready to, you know, even when they be like, you want to drink? Let's go. Like that's my mom. So like I feel like even, you know, even their relationship, she was a very like, you know, while she always supported him and stuff like that. So my mom's family, they love to dance. So I guess like, you know, that's a combination of like me loving to dance.
And then in school, what were you like in school? What was Melii like in school?
Well,
what were you like in school?
Where though? What grade?
All right, give me, let's say 8th grade. I feel like 8th is like a safe grade.
8th grade. What was I? By 8th grade, I was still getting sent to DR. So I did. I got sent to a Christian school. Okay. To go to Christian school in DR. And then I was a little bit like rebelde, like the rebel of the family. It was like 3 of us and counting. But
So wait, hold on. You have a sister or a brother, or what is?
I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers,
Okay.
and then I'm like the middle, like the one in the middle. But now I'm having a little sister, so that's even
Nice.
Yeah, my dad, Dominican.
Girl, I got 5 sisters and 4 brothers.
Younger?
I am not the youngest, the second to
youngest?
last. Yeah.
Okay. So that's me.
But my dad was working for sure.
Yeah, my dad crazy.
He was working.
But I was very like I think the only thing that changed is like I'm not as like daring as before, but I was always doing it.
Really?
Oh my God, can we crazy?
You can.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, let it out. Let it out. Let it out.
No. The came out by
Okay,
mistake.
yeah, it's fine. Okay, so now, what about, let's say, sophomore, junior year in high school? Like right when you have to see, like, what college am I going to, or
so
you were bad. You just said you were bad.
I could admit, like now looking back, like I would love a child like me, but then at the same time, like I understand the patience that they had to have.
Right.
But I guess when I came back from DR, because I ended up coming back, in 9th grade, I was having like little boyfriends and stuff. So there was this one, I used to go to, like I said, to Thurgood Marshall, and I was dating somebody from like Bread and Roses, which was like up the block. And like we would just be hanging out. I was definitely like doing things I wasn't supposed to do, like, leaving and stuff like that. But one of my best friends, like, she got in trouble because she was, little boyfriends and stuff,
Yeah.
So my mom was like, yo te voy a mandar pa otra escuela because you need to be separated from everybody. So, pa que fue? So, because I was worse. So, and I ended up going to,
Oh my God.
I ended up being in G-Dubs. I love the vibes.
What was the vibe like?
Well, when I got there, it was a little bit confusing to me because in Thurgood, I would be like, okay, like that's Audrey, because that's her real name. That's
Right.
Audrey, whatever. Like she's Dominican, but like we with her. But then in the Heights, when like I first hit the 3rd floor, which was the floor I was in, like I had like some Dominicans girl like talking mad shit in front of me, like but in Spanish.
Yeah.
So I was kind of confused if like. I was like, wait, are y'all noticing that I can understand you or you can't, So by the time, like, the teacher was done, like, saying, like, okay, let go. And I was like, I understand you or whatever. And they looked kind of surprised. So
like,
it was kind of like a transition of, like, understanding, like, maybe these people think they're more, like, in the culture than me, or, like, I look a certain way where they couldn't really be like, oh, she's Dominican or whatever. So it was definitely like that. But then the transition was good because even though I was the new girl and stuff, like, I was dating, I had my first real, like, actual relationship there. And I was dating, like, the captain of the little baseball team. So,
okay.
You know how it is.
Okay.
I was, I was with my friends and stuff. Most of my friends were, like, party girls. So, like, we was throwing parties and stuff. We was making bread like that.
So you were, like, the popular girl.
I wouldn't.
Like, people were definitely, did you have a crew? Did you have, like, a girl crew?
I had I guess, but because I don't like saying popular, but I feel like I knew people. I was loved. I loved people, So I guess,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did growing up, like when you were in high school, because you have a very unique voice, and I always say this about you. Your voice really stands out to me. But for me, I really had a hard time because I went to a performing arts high school, so everyone would call me Rosie. Rosie Perez for my accent. And even in acting school, I just had a very difficult time. Did anybody ever mention your voice? Did they make fun of you?
I did get Rosie Perez a few times. I'll get brownies for my brownies all the time. Yeah, so but it was usually just people trying to mimic how I sound. So but I always spend my whole life just looking at people like that's how I sound in your head. But I always feel like they'll use like a higher tone and stuff. But I just felt like after a while, I went from hating my voice to like, yo, like I love my voice. So
you know what I would do? I would actually, like when I first had a cell phone, I would leave myself like a voice note just to hear how I would sound.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
And I would cringe like, oh my God, I don't want to hear my voice. Did you do that?
Not with voicemails, but like in videos, I would run it back to see like how I sounded.
Was it like a cringe or were you like, nah, this is dope. I like my voice?
I mean, I'll always be like, because you never get used to it, and especially like maybe I just hear a little bit like deeper, but like when I'm on cameras and stuff, I do hear like how people will be like, because that's usually how they mimic me and stuff.
When did you first realize the power of your voice?
What do you mean by power of my voice?
Well, because your tone is unique, and I feel like you do like set yourself apart from like a cluster of women that may want to get into this like music industry. Like you really you have to know you don't sound like anyone.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
like
no,
you
no,
don't
yeah.
sound like anyone, which is a
Thank
gift.
you.
So just like the power of like like your tone and what you could do with your voice in the music.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
music.
yeah. Like different pockets that I could hit and stuff. I was very in tune with it because even like before like anything, I always kept like a journal. So a lot of times like I'll write poems and I'll like see if I'll like either rap it or if I'll sing it in a different tone or if I'll just like so a lot of times like just reading and stuff, that's what made me like realize like the pockets that I could go and tap in with my voice.
Were you singing first or were you rapping first?
I was into poetry.
All right. Like poetry, like spoken word.
Yeah.
Do you remember, I don't know if you remember this, but there was like the New York Cafe. I feel like it's still around. You don't remember it. Okay, I feel like I just showed my age right now.
No. I don't remember it.
No, it was like this really dope, like almost like Def Poetry Jam.
Yeah.
It was like that, and they had like amazing poets that would just do spoken words. So it just triggered something in my mind.
That's beautiful though, because even being in Harlem, like the whole like jazz stuff and all of that, like I feel like I was very more exposed to poetry like through school because of like Harlem.
How open were you to sharing like your gift and your art with like your friends?
I was always like open. I feel like during I think 5th grade. Fifth grade we started like rapping during like when the teacher wasn't there. We had an all girls class and we would just like be banging on the desk. So there was times when my turn and I'll just be like, let me get my journal and let me be rapping, So
do you still have those journals?
I honestly I threw my first journal down the incinerator. That's what it's called.
Did you?
Yeah, because my mom was gonna find it, and I got scared one day, so I was like, let me just throw it. And then my other journal, somebody still has that journal from high school. I haven't gotten to like get in contact with the girl. I know. I don't know if she threw it out or not, but she was definitely a person that I trusted like with. So I was like, yo, just keep this. And it's cute because the journal was like one of those like brown, like looking old journals.
Did you have like the key? Did you have like one of those journals that had the key? No?
That journal was like literally like the ones with the little band on top of it.
Yeah. Dope. Okay, so you were always into writing. You know when I first like noticed your music, it was the Bodak Yellow remix.
Oh yeah, the Bodak Yellow.
And that song for me really did it for me. And I'm going to tell you why. I felt like you really embrace both the Spanish and the English. Was that like a very conscious decision or does that come out like naturally for you?
That comes out naturally because there's times like how I said, like I think I've been doing it even in this interview. Like I'll spit out one word in Spanish, but it's just the way that like we talk, even being like, from New York and stuff like that. Like there's times where people who don't understand you, I still blur out like little Spanish words. So that comes naturally.
That song changed a lot for you, right?
Yeah, it did. It definitely brought a lot of like attention and different like opportunities to the table.
But you were doing, I was following you on Instagram and you were doing a lot of like music and just rapping, like just doing videos. And then for some reason that song really just like changed everything.
Yeah, I feel like the reason why it was such like an impactful moment, it was because like I was already doing the freestyles, so I was doing them to every other song. But also Cardi, coming out of like the Bronx and stuff, and then now you have like this other girl who like people knew could rap and sing, and then she gets on the beat and it's Spanish and English, and then the whole time the whole camera's just spinning around. It was a very impactful like eye catching thing. Yeah. So I feel like people, aside from the song being a great song and Cardi, that same year, I feel like people was just like, oh, like somebody flipped it around to a song that was just continuously being played.
What do you feel I mean, I know what changed for you, like outside looking in, but internally, what was the change for you once you released that song?
We was just talking about that. Honestly, the change for me was it wasn't as drastic. It was just more so like people probably needing more of like my time.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, the only thing I was more focused on was just being in the studio.
Mm-hmm. What about like on the Latin side? If you had to collab with a Latina artist,
Yeah.
because I'm sure people reached out to you after that,
What, after the Bodak? Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
But who are some of the Latina artists that you would like to work with?
Latina artists I would like to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Latina or just Latino, Latina?
Both.
Both.
Just anybody on the Spanish side.
So I would like to work, I would say, with Harlem-based Guerra. Because I feel like I could, do something. Arcangel,
Mm-hmm.
Casu,
Mm-hmm.
love her. Who else? I think most of the girls are like newer artists and stuff like that. So I feel like even Yailin, shout out to Yailin.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Not off the top, I can't really think right.
No worries. I feel like you always collab. Like you're very good with working with others, because we do see you collab with, right? You just did a Tirame, right?
Yeah, Tirame with Neffy.
Neffy.
Yes,
Yeah.
Neffy. Shout out to Neffy.
I was telling Lou, shout out to Lou, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Lou. I was telling Lou, one of my favorite songs from your catalog is Fresh Air.
Wow. That's deep.
No, that's deep. That song is deep
You
for
think
me.
so?
Yes. And the reason why I like that, and it's so crazy because I love Icey, I love Bodak Yellow, but for some reason, Fresh Air, it's such a painful song, but you made it sound so beautiful.
Thank you.
Like I could literally cry to that song. It's such a beautiful song.
Thank you. I feel like a lot of people like overlook like the songs that could describe me as an artist. Cause I feel like Bodak Yellow, like you said, what was the other one you said? Bodak Yellow and Icey. I feel like Icey, I've said it before, we did it in a playful. It was like one of the last songs we did, and we was just joking around.
But that song went
I know.
major, it went crazy.
So yeah, so there's, even then as an artist, there's times where I'm in the studio and I'm like, okay, well, I can't think too much about it, or I just have to free flow, but then I also have to get into this pocket where it's like that real like playfulness, but it's just like, it just, all the times when you don't really care about a song, or like you feel like, oh, that's nothing, is what actually calls in the crowd.
Yeah, let's talk about Icey. Because Icey, so who put Icey on for, was it Kylie Jenner?
Yeah, so Kylie used it for the cosmetic stuff. And then that's when Rihanna had used it for her, like, her revealing.
You're
like,
saying this very nonchalantly, by the way.
No,
like, that's a big deal.
No, I'm still it's a blessing. You feel me?
You went
like,
from Kylie Jenner to Rihanna.
Yeah, to Rihanna, and then
did you meet Rihanna?
I did at the Diamond Ball. She was like,
that?
"You're a badass."
Did she?
Yeah. So I was like, hey, like the real bad gallery said, I am a badass.
So
but I loved her.
Like,
yes, I love her. And she's somebody that I've always looked up to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, even with like her body and like how she's carried herself, things that she's gone through and stuff, like I always like look onto her. And also like her music has a lot of influence on my personality too, you know? So her, and then Beyonce used Icey for her campaign too. So,
okay, so Kylie Jenner, Rihanna, Beyonce.
Yes.
Wow.
3 powerful, beautiful women.
Wow. And Icey was just a song that you weren't even thinking about. Like, I'm going to just do this, very organic.
And I ain't mad at it. I just now, what's crazy is when Icey first dropped, I was crying. I was like, I don't want them to think that this is me.
Really?
Yeah, because it's not that it's not me. It was more so like, it's just one pocket that I can tap into. But I've always been wanting to be a woman who just could uplift other women through my music, but in a way where I feel like they could relate. But then again, people say they relate to Icey.
Yeah,
I even had like one of my fans like taught themselves,
Icey?
Yeah, the lyrics.
Oh, wow.
Cuidado si me toca te quema. I was like, oh shit, like you got that tatted.
How does that make you feel when you see that?
It makes me feel excited. It makes me feel like, yo, but don't do that. But hey.
Okay, and then how does that happen? So you go on Instagram and you see Beyonce, you scrolling through and you just see Beyonce. Does she ask you?
No.
How does that work?
When that happened, it's definitely a spaced out time of when it happened. But with Beyonce, I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't believe it. Like when they came to me like, oh, Beyonce, like the camp, I just thought it was like I didn't process it.
Right.
I really never processed it. And then when I had like seen her laying on the couch and then my song is in the back, I was in Miami. I was like, but wait, Beyonce, and that's when like my head really like bust.
So wait, let's take for the people that haven't seen it. So Beyonce did Ivy Park campaign, and it was like a whole Icey campaign. She was in blue. She had the white fur, and your song is the one that's playing.
Yeah, and not only my song, like,
and she let it rock too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then on top of that, shout out to the queen. I love her. Like, I'm forever grateful. But she let my tag go there. Because, I'm always like, Melii.
Yep.
So for her to allow, you know what I'm saying? She could have just played the song. But she let my name be there. So I was like, yo, like, that's a blessing. Like,
how do you sleep at night? Like, how do you, like, what is, I'm just imagining if it was me and Beyonce played one of my records, I think I would go crazy. Like,
to this day, I'm still a little like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, when it first happened, I didn't believe it. Like, I didn't process. And I feel like even when I do mention Rihanna and Beyonce and stuff like that and the things that has happened, I feel like I don't really process it the way that other people will process it. I feel like it hits me in waves sometimes, or like I'll be like, Beyonce was my shit. But it's like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, my fault, my stuff. But, I don't know. I feel like it just hits me sometimes. I'm like, yo, it's surreal. It's so surreal that sometimes I don't take it in.
Do you ever write for other artists or like pitch your songs to other artists?
There was definitely a time where I wasn't as open to it. But now, like, I'm in the works. I don't want to, like, step over their boundaries and stuff. But I'm definitely like working with the girls and stuff. So I'm very open.
Okay. Who were you most surprised of? Beyonce? Between Kylie Jenner, Rihanna, and Beyonce. Were you most surprised at Beyonce? Or was it Rihanna? It may have been
Rihanna. It was different emotions for all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, because with Rihanna, I felt like it was like I feel like with Rihanna and Beyonce, it was like a little like a omen. I don't know if that's what it's called, but I was going through a lot. You know what I'm saying? Both times, and when the thing happened with Riri, I cut my hair off. So like I did a big chop. Yeah. So while I'm in the bathroom,
that sounds like a breakup. Is that like a breakup chop?
No, my man was right there. I was. I came out like, do you like this? But I was more so, it was a lot of things that I wasn't understanding. And my emotions were a lot like all over the place. So when Riri did that, I was like, wait, whoa, you know what I'm saying? So it was like I said, like little omens where I feel like God be like, let me just place like people that you like love and like could see yourself in and like really could motivate you and be like, you're that girl. So every time, like, because there's times you do forget, whatever, and I really be like, yo, like, I'm that girl. Like,
no. Whenever you're having a bad day, you have to keep reminding yourself, like,
exactly.
Beyonce played my song in the campaign.
Right. And that's like boss. Top, they both bosses, and this is like, even in the lyrics, like, it's not like, you already know how you feel when you listening to them. You know what I'm saying? So
Icey, for me, the vibe for Icey is like, when I'm going out and I'm getting dressed, I'm coming out the shower, I'm about to like get dressed, put on my makeup, I put on Icey.
Yes.
But then I've listened to City Girls. That's a whole vibe.
That is a vibe. I love that song. It's very like New York girl.
Yes, it is a very New York.
That's why I named it City Girls, because it was supposed to describe like New York girls and how we are.
My favorite line is I almost want to sing it, but I can't sing. So I don't want, when you're thinking of a song and you like, you want to sing it. Oh my God. I just want to get a taste of what it feels like.
Dreamer of believing anything if it feels
yes. That's my favorite line.
I love that song. I love it. It's
I
one of like
know.
my top.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that like what are your top 3 favorite songs?
My top 3 of myself would be Way Out.
I love Way
Yes,
Out.
I love Way Out.
Way Out is like when I'm in the gym on the grind, like
Oh, for real?
yeah. I swear.
That one, let me
Because
see.
it gives me like that grind, like
For real? Yeah,
I'm
it
trying to
does. Like
like
from the bottom up.
from the bottom
Mhm.
up.
I think, damn,
So you got Way
City
Out.
Girls.
City Girls is a whole vibe.
And did I say See Me already?
I love See Me.
Yeah. Did I say? I said that right?
No, you haven't said it, but I love See Me. And
Yeah,
I love
See
the
Me's
visuals
top.
for See Me as well.
For real?
I do.
That's crazy. I
You
shot
didn't
that.
like it?
Well, my label, they didn't believe in that. So, like,
Why?
we had to, like, really pull and stuff. And it ended up being one of the main, like, tractions of, like, Melii. Like, when I'm on stage and stuff, like, you hear the girls. And I really believed in that song. Like, I loved it. So, when it came to, like, the budgeting, like, for the video and stuff, like, I was like, I believe in it.
Yeah.
You know, and shout out to Sherry, too, because, you know.
Sherry Warren?
Yes.
Come on, that's my girl.
No, not Sherry Warren.
Brian? Okay, sorry.
I'm sorry.
We could bleep that one out. Yeah,
Shout out to
Sherry.
Shout out to Sherry, you know, because she had my back in that. But I really believed in the song, and then we shot it at the Dream Hotel.
Ooh, that's the whole vibe. Then you have those songs that really tap into emotions, right?
Yes.
Now, we had Jessie Reyes on the show.
Yes.
And one of the discussions that we had with Jessie was that a lot of her songs derive from pain. And I brought up La India, and she got very emotional about that because La India was one of those artists that, you know, like you felt her music and you felt like she was going through a breakup. She was going through all these things.
Very influential.
Very influential. And then you have those songs as well. Those songs, are those like, is that your truth? Are you really writing from like a real place?
Yeah, See Me was from a real place.
Okay.
I had to like really check myself. But I feel like that's the main thing about me is like I never, even with situations like with my girls or when I see other situations, like I might not be too fond of you, but I'll be like, yeah, like that could happen to me. Like she better go, like, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, like with See Me, the whole message was that, like, yo, let me tell you about the baddest that I know. Like, we never do no crying. You know, we get to the dough, you know? And then I was bigging up the strippers, too, because it was a time where, like, strippers was really awesome. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, kind of paper, watch it overflow.
I love
Throw
that.
it like a stripper, let it flow on through the flow. You know, get your sexy on. Because I feel like that's what you need when you having those moments. Like, have your moments because we're human, you know, with guys, whatever it is. And then put that song on that's gonna make you feel like, yeah, I need to go out. I'm a bad bitch. Ooh, I'm a bad girl.
Is Luke telling you to stop cursing? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I just need to stop cursing in general.
Me too. And then you have Pretty Girls.
Oh my God, yes. That's one
Pretty
of them.
Girl.
That was definitely one that I was like, it needs to be on there.
So when you just take me behind the like recording process
of Pretty
Girls.
It was so long
because that's like a very
ago.
like diary type of track.
So in Pretty Girls, I can't remember the studio I was in, what I was feeling, but what I would say about Pretty Girls, I felt like it was so important to have there because I felt like I was away like from my family and stuff like that. I was actually in LA. And during that first, like, you know, like the whole like going into the industry and stuff like that, I had a lot of things like running through my head. So like, and I'm open about it now. I was open before in a more like I need to do it fearless way, but now I'm more open in a like I've came to love myself so much that I'm like open to speak on it. So like I used to wear scarves all the time to hide my long neck. But that's sassy, you know? That's beautiful. So a lot of times, like I said, with Pretty Girls, that was also reflect on that. Like, all right, like, you're gonna get over it one day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to embrace yourself. with my hair, I used to, like, another thing, I used to cover my big ears. You know what I'm saying, with my hair. So a lot of times when I would be like chopping off my hair, it would be me against me a lot of times.
But you have like beautiful curls.
Thank you.
Like beautiful curls. And I always say like hair plays a big role in our culture, right?
Yeah.
Like my mother would never allow me to wear my hair curly.
For real?
Ever. Not even in job interviews.
Well, Dominicans, they do see it as like, it's pajón. Because there's times where I'm like, before, even like coming into like being Melii, that was me, even like a part of my look. Like, no, like I used to do the whole, like, through high school, I used to have like the whole blowouts and stuff like that.
Like the wash and set?
Yeah, but eso te quema el cabello. You know,
Yeah,
it starts breaking your hair, whatever. So after that, it came, I forgot what summer. 2016, the littest summer of my life. I think everybody could agree on that.
Yeah.
But I was wilding. Like, I had parties every other day and barbecues. So by then, my hair would be like, pfft.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna stop using, like, you know,
the flat iron.
Yeah, so I just came into it, and then after that, like, it was just Melii with the curls. You know, I used to be like, what is it? Jiggy Shorty with the curls, you know.
So, all right, so take us back. So with Pretty Girls, right? Now that comes from like a real place.
Yes, it
Are
does.
those type of songs for you? Are those more like difficult to record?
I'm not, I can't tell you what I felt. I probably did cry, but like I said, like, I was away from my family. I have a little niece. I have a lot of like younger siblings. And there was a time where my older cousin, shout out to Dali, she, I was crying because I didn't wanna go to school or whatever. And one of the reasons was because I've always had like big eyebrows too. So like my mom didn't allow me to do my eyebrows. She wanted me to be a child, you know, which I appreciate now. But before,
and
I
was
used
trying
to
get
be
them
like,
waxed and
I was trying to get the nails done,
threaded, and the tips and the.
But you know, in school, like, kids are pretty harsh. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, like I said, like with my neck and stuff like that, I had to like come into loving myself. And my cousin, which was older than me, like, she had that conversation. She's like, you know, you're beautiful, like, don't hide yourself, da da da. And I also had to realize too, like, yo, I get beautiful and, you know, way more popping just with the years.
Yeah.
So, you know, like my little cousins or just little girls or whoever's listening to me, like, understanding that too. Like, yo, like, you don't look like this, even if you do, like, embrace how you look right there, because you're gonna go back to them pictures and be like, yo, it was so beautiful and I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was really a message for that. Like, Pretty Girls, like, you forgot to mention, like, because there be them girls that you be like, oh, it's da-da-da-da. They grow up and they're like models, beautiful, you know what I'm saying? So that was definitely the message in that.
But then you shouted out the girls who commit suicide, right?
Yes.
Like, you gave them like a shout out. Why was it important for you to mention that on that song? Because you didn't have to say that, but you say it a few times.
Got me a little bit.
Oh,
but
take a shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a shot.
Take a shot. It's all
Yes.
good. Hola, mi gente. Sorry for the interruption, but I have to talk about Bartenura. No matter how you pronounce it or what the occasion, Bartenura has you covered. A fresh and delicately fruity Prosecco rosé with red berry and floral aromas. Lively on the palate with ripe strawberry and raspberry notes and a clean, refreshing finish. From your iconic Moscato in its stunning blue bottle to your full line of sparkling wines and everything in between, Bartenura pairs perfectly whether you're sipping poolside, entertaining, or just relaxing after a long day, or even watching Growing Up Latina. Bartenura Prosecco Rosé. Now back to the show.
I feel like, so I was definitely crying making that song, but shout out to LaShawn. In the song, I shout out one of my girls because, like I said, we was young. We was like 3rd grade, 4th grade. And like I said, like, I think in any school, but in the hood, like, you better know how to clap back.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So it definitely builds character.
Yeah.
You know, but I have found one of my friends with like a bag over her head in the bathroom.
Oh.
So that song definitely took me back to that day. And it's like more so like she didn't go through it, and I'm happy, like, she's, you know, beautiful girl, God bless you. But it was more so like, imagine how many other girls like they suffer from like hearing, oh, you're ugly, or every day, you know what I'm saying? And it's like she was one of the girls too where her mom didn't like, wasn't like on some night, you're gonna be a child, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So a lot of times like I always had the Wendy's the two little the braids and stuff. So a lot of times like I didn't feel cute, I didn't feel, you know, I will even, there was times where I was a little fast and stuff, and I'll be rolling up my little skirts, you know, because that's like kid stuff like that you do and stuff. So even knowing like even looking back at myself, I'll be like, yo, like, I hombre, like, you're just a baby, like, you're okay, bro, you look beautiful, you know, but you don't know that when you're in third grade, fourth grade.
No, and kids are harsh too, right?
Very harsh.
Like, I remember growing up, during the pandemic, I had Invisaligns. And it was so important for me to fix my teeth.
Yes.
Because growing up, everybody would just like roast me.
Yeah.
Especially when I got to radio. And I would do interviews, everybody was talking about my teeth. And I'm like, at the time, I didn't really like focus on it as much. And then when I started hearing the comments, it did something to me. Like, it made me feel like,
you would see it and everything.
Girl, I wouldn't even want to smile in pictures.
Yeah.
I wouldn't smile at all. I was just like, I don't want to do anything. Don't put me on video. And it made me feel very insecure. And then I finally fixed my teeth during the pandemic. I was so happy about it. And then it was something else people didn't like. And I'm like, okay, now I can't make everyone happy.
That happens though. You know what I'm saying? And it's more so because look, not you bring that up, it's more so like what people bring attention to. I have a bubble nose. I have a big nose. I have like a different kind of nose. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a bubble nose.
Well, to me,
it's not a bubble nose.
It's a vibe or whatever. But like, I never liked my nose. You know what I'm saying? So there was times where I'll be like literally third, fourth grade, like this in front of the mirrors.
Like
or I'll put bobby pins to see if it'll like mold a different ways. So that's another thing. Like, even when I was when I never wanted to do carpets, I never wanted to do like things where I couldn't control like the interviews or like how I looked on it. And that's a part of like my best friend, she's on my team too. Shout out to Ruthie. But she's always on top of like cameras, like, oh, let me show her how she looks and stuff like that. Not saying that now I'm more like, but more so it became such a thing where it's just like, oh, if I popped out like this, I didn't want to be seen. Like, I was always like picking at myself. But it came a time where I started like I'm a person, I don't know if like you're like this, but I walk but like, you know, when you home,
you walk out naked?
Yeah,
no, I don't do
like,
that. I don't walk
in your house.
Yeah, I do that in my house.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm
like,
saying.
I don't walk butt out.
No.
I'm like, no, not me.
Girl, no.
I'm like,
you don't see me at 2-5 running, but like even then, like that helps self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but it's the question of, do you like who you see in the mirror?
I love who I see in the mirror. Like, it took a while. But as soon as I was like, yo, hold up, so I'm not gonna pop out because I'm scared that the photographer's gonna catch the wrong angles. Like, no.
Yeah.
So I had to really like be like, all right, girl, like, you ODing.
I'm seeing change in you.
You are?
Yes.
I love that.
I am. And you know who, you and I have something in common. We both follow the Hood Healer.
I love the Hood Healer. I love her.
So I love the Hood Healer. I tapped in with the Hood Healer during the pandemic. Everything happened for me. My whole life changed.
Me too.
During the pandemic. And the Hood Healer really got me through some like deep, dark moments.
Yes.
And I believe it was because I started doing like the shadow work and the inner child healing. But explain to people who don't know who the Hood Healer is. Who is she?
Hold up.
So people.
Nah, I love her. I know. Like, that's my sis.
And
like,
by the way, when she's on IG Live, like, I'm seeing you tap in, and
I'm
like, Melii.
I'm like, hey, but I love her because, like, it was
who
always.
Is she? Wait,
oh
who
yeah,
is she?
okay. I'm sorry, I get excited talking about her.
I know.
So the Hood Healer, she's like very known on the internet.
A real name Imani.
A Virgo, fashionista, bad.
Yes.
Top tier.
But
she's somebody who sparked like you said, the awakening in me. It was like having Not to call her mommy or whatever, but it was like a person on the internet which reflected so much with my mom. But it wasn't as, like when your mom says stuff, you be like, "Ay." Well, at least me, but I still listen.
No,
but like
me too,
hearing the same, like, the same kind of like approach on life, how she was going at it, like it really sparked in me like the awakening to also look inside myself. And Amani is somebody who's like, she doesn't care to be wrong. She doesn't care to be right. She's just delivering the facts. Like, she'll just be like, well, F how you feel. This is what it is. You see her like munching or whatever.
She's the real her.
Yeah, she's the
Very
real her.
authentic.
Very. And it also helps me also not do the whole deleting or like, girl, you better stand on what you say. Because there's times where like the internet will fall on her and she's still standing. I'll be like, yo, like Amani really does not care. And most of the time she be right about the things she's saying. So it's like, even like discovering Mani did like the pandemic was huge for me. It did that.
Yeah.
It definitely made me go inside, because like Amani would be like, well, what is wrong with you that
Everything
you're
is to
attracting?
you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's not a person to be like, well, you need a da-da-da, these people are not. Like, it's more so of a person who makes you reflect on yourself. Like, what can you do better? Like, how can you change the surroundings around you, but starting with you? And that's what I admire about that woman, because even then, like, she grew up like without her biological mom.
Without both. Remember,
yes,
they both passed away.
Yeah, so even watching her journey as a mom, like I was scared to have kids. Like, after a while, I didn't want kids because there's so much stuff that you see on the internet. You be like, oh my God, like you never really know people. But seeing Amani, like how she just so open, like with her baby and stuff. God bless your baby.
Yeah. Baby shout out to
Right?
Yeah.
Like, just seeing her be like, she's just like it's just, I don't know, I get so excited talking about her, but like just an example, like if you're looking onto her, is like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody who stands in their truth, somebody who stands in their power.
Yeah.
Very, like I said, fashionista, like very
super
Sex in the City kind of girl. Like, she's popping out, she's saying what she wants, you know what I'm saying? So it gives that, yo, like, I'm not too much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not too much. I don't think I'm not too opinionated. I don't think I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? So she gives that.
I think Imani, like, for me, what she does for me is she holds me accountable for the things that I've done. And for a long time, I was always, I didn't grow up with my dad, but I was always blaming him for a lot of the relationships, like the failed relationships that I had in my life. And I was never interested in like having that conversation with my dad, because I didn't care. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
You did me wrong, whatever, I'm good. Like,
so he was around, but not around.
I'm going to tell you how around he was. He was in Brooklyn and I was in Harlem. And he would say, I'm going to come see you. I'm going to come see you. And I'll be waiting with the coat on.
That was me sometimes.
And he would never come.
And he's Dominican. Okay.
That's
was
a
me
stereotype,
sometimes.
though.
No, but that's how they are. And I don't know if you've gotten there with it, but I've had to realize like they came from a whole different upbringing.
It's a different upbringing.
So it's like, even then, like, does your dad hug you?
No, I don't think I've ever received a hug from my dad.
My dad hugs me now, but it took me to get older, and I feel like even then I'll be like, all right, like my dad would do the tap when I got older, you know what I'm saying? So I was a daddy's girl too. So when he cut off and just saw me as like an adult, like there was times where I would go, and I was in Harlem, he was in the Bronx.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting, or he'll say, oh, pull up on me. I'll be waiting outside. I'll be like, yo,
what's going on?
Exactly. Or like for games, I wanted my parents there. They were never there, but I had to realize like, yo, they came from, you see how they treated us?
Yeah.
They had it worse with their parents.
And that's what I'm saying. So when I started doing the work, then I was like, okay, well, what was his dad like? Or like, and my mom did a great job on not like, like blaming my dad for anything or painting him out to be like the bad guy. She was like, her energy was like, well, you could see for yourself.
Yeah. That was my mom.
Like, you could see what he's doing. I don't even have to say much, you know?
Because he was there, though. Don't get me wrong. Like, my dad definitely looked out and stuff. But there was definitely a time where I was more confused, like, with myself. And I was, like, disgusted with myself. Like, oh, my God, I'm growing. I'm not daddy's little girl. Maybe that's why he's not treating me like this. Like, So, again, it does play a part a lot in a lot of, like, relationships and stuff.
In
or, like,
relationships.
how you feel like you have to shrink yourself or you have to act a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And my dad's a Taurus, and he's, like, stubborn. So there was a lot of things where I'll be like, you don't listen, you're just being bad. But then, like I said, growing up, you'd be like, oh, okay, like you just wanted, I'm actually happy, even though it was a little bit kind of like rough with both of them. I'm happy because I feel like maybe that's what this soul needed to learn and be who I am right now, and because I'm still building.
Yeah, but how does that play out in like relationships and dating
And
for
dating,
you? Because it made me like not want to date anybody that was like my dad. I was like, oh no, if you remind me of my dad, I'm good on it. I don't want you.
I was actually the opposite. I feel like after like a year or half of a year into the relationship, I realized I was dating men similar to my dad. So that's crazy that you had that kind of experience where you run away. But I never knew I was attracting men just like that. So I was definitely attracting like controlling men, or just men that like, because my dad, he's a tough one,
Right, yeah.
So he was always like very like judgmental a lot of times, or like, you don't need to be. There was one time we had a big argument because it was the summer, like literally the middle of the summer. And I was by the window, and he's like, you should be reading a book. And like my grandma had to be like, cállate, leave her alone. Like, she's not doing nothing. But my dad was always like, you need to be doing stuff. You need to be educated. But I realized, like I said, their upbringing.
And what is your relationship with your dad now? Like,
I love my dad.
Yeah?
Yeah, like it's like I said, like Imani, thank you for her,
Imani's dope.
Yeah, but it took a lot to like forgive myself, forgive others, forgive situations that to them, like, because sometimes I will tell my parents, like, when I got older, I'll be like, yo, not to hold you. Do you remember this day? What they thought was like this was like, nah, that was very impactful. But it also made me realize, like, yo, there's, even with my close friends or relatives, that there's going to be situations that I'm not looking into as deep because they're reflecting upon it in a different way from something internal.
I think one of the things that Imani also helped me with was the conversation surrounding death. Because growing up, it's like, mommy never told me what happened when someone passes away. So I didn't get that part. It was like, okay, this person's no longer here, but why? What happened? Like, so, my grandmother passed away from breast cancer. But thank you. And I never got the backstory. I never got like, I have like vivid memories of, a lot of people from my family kind of like surrounding the room around her, but no one had that conversation with me. And so when she passed, it really hit me in a different way because I almost felt like lied to. Like, why no one is having this conversation? So then when Imani broke it down, and when she starts making you accountable for the things and not to blame your parents, then I started processing, okay, the topic, the very
I don't know.
Why? What happened?
Nah, I thought about my grandfather.
Your grandfather passed away
too. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. What did if you can share, what did he pass away from?
My grandfather, he had like fell from his high as bed, and he had like a stroke and stuff. But he had like all the other stuff.
Yeah.
That it just made me think, because you said like people surrounded, but I never actually went. Like they took him off like once I finally went, but I was like one of the kids that always was with my grandfather.
Yeah,
so it made me think about
that. Did your parents ever have that conversation?
I was a little older.
Yeah,
but luckily, in a messed up way that I'm saying it, I never really had like crazy deaths when I was small. Which is like even worse to me, because there's times where I push like people away because of that death thing. I don't ever want to feel like, even with my grandfather, once I felt that, I didn't go to the funeral. I just wanted to keep that last like memory of him on that bed, and like I sang to him, and he moved his feet. And he wasn't moving at all. So I was like, I don't want to go from that memory to going to the funeral. And like, I never really processed death. Maybe you're there, I'm not there.
I'm still working through it. I'm still working through it, because I think the most recent one that I had was my grandfather. Now that one really affected me. That one affected me because we have the same birthdays. And that was like, because my dad wasn't around, so that was my dad. That was my dad. And that one was like, that one's still hard. That one's still hard. And oftentimes when I pray, I do pray to him, and I'm like, hey, and he would always call me ay, mi loca favorita, all the time. And I remember those moments. And I still have the phone that when we celebrated our last birthday, I had like a BlackBerry phone. I still have that phone and I never want to give it up because I'm always trying to find like the charger, like the compatible charger to like look at the videos. Because it's still, don't you gonna make me cry?
No, I'm very emotional. I'm usually good at not.
No, that's fine. Let it out. But because it's real.
Yeah.
It's real. And, you know, sometimes I wish that I could, you know, just have like one last conversation. You know, there's so many questions I had, you know, and even with my mom, there's so many like just questions that I want to ask.
Wait, your mom passed?
My mom did not pass.
Okay.
My mom is alive, but my mom, this is actually the first time I ever speak about it. But my mom has Alzheimer's. So it's very hard for me to like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk about it, but that's. Yeah. Oh my God, we're getting like emotional. Yeah, I don't even know what to say because I always thought about that. Like how could anyone even handle that? Like how, like that's your mommy, you know what I'm saying? Like the one person who like.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? She's incredible, you know, and she's done everything that she could. I think it's hard to, because the mind is such a powerful tool. So then to not be able to have like control over the mind, I think that's the hard part. And I think it makes me hustle harder, you know, because I feel like, okay, well, you know, there's a woman, you know, who, you know, doesn't have the ability to remember anything, can't live her true best life. So like, let me go harder because who am I to complain about like getting up or doing, you know what I'm saying? So I think like those are the parts that affect me, but I get through it. Imani does a great job in helping me with it all.
You still like bond with her?
I speak to my mom every day. I think it affected me. The first time I noticed was when she forgot my birthday. I didn't know why she forgot. I was like, yo, but your dad's birthday is literally the same day. How do you forget my birthday?
Could it be because it's such a like a tragic thing like for her with her dad?
So what she told me was she has such a rough upbringing that you know when you go through something,
suppress memory.
Yeah, like you push it back, like you don't even want to remember it anymore. You don't want to go through it, and so I feel like she just went through just so many hard times that she is almost like her mind played tricks on her, like she just wanted to forget about everything, and then she really forgot. Yeah. So I think, you know, with a lot of the reasons why I relate to you and some of your stories is because I know you have like similar ones where you have experienced tragic moments, and you hear that in who changed.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you want to share even a little bit about it, but I know that was like the most tragic moment that occurred in your life.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I won't get too into it because I don't want to overstep the boundaries of that other person. But in Who Changed, I do talk about that. And speaking on your mom, the reason why I said I could relate is that also made me have like PTSD, suppressed memories. There was a lot of things where I was really just in the mood. I think you asked me a question like, where was your head at about just music? And I was like, I just wanted to make music because that was a way of me like running away from like what was in my head and things that I couldn't really like escape. So like having suppressed memory is a thing for me, you know what I'm saying? So that definitely was an impactful like moment in my life which changed me drastically, like from the girl that I was 2016 until that time, and then coming into the industry, I think people didn't really process what I was going through or the fact that I was standing in front of a mirror and I knew the girl that was there, but I had to like relearn her and different things. So like even now I feel like I'm in a place where it's like the old girl that loves to have fun and is very more like outgoing, she's back. But that other side of me is also there, and now that girl has like learned how to balance that also traumatized side of me where it
Yeah.
doesn't take over or become my whole story or become how I dictate my life.
Mm-hmm. But the decision to make a song about it, because that's almost like you reliving the entire, moment. Why did you feel like it was like a release? Like you felt like you needed to write a song, or?
I felt like making that song was kind of more so like hey, like I'm not okay. You know, like, yeah, there's great things going on around me and I have to like put on this like, yeah, I'm here and hopefully, like you said, like, I've never met you and you're like a bad person or whatever. And it's like there was times where my family and my team had to experience the bad side of me, or there's times where before that I had a interview with Angie Martinez and I even like spoke on it because I felt like it was a lot of oh, but she looks fine. And that's another thing that people don't explain about like mental health. Like you could look a certain way, but it's really starts
it's like high functioning depression.
Yeah, high functioning. And it's like I had no other choice because it was like God is in front of me like, hey, look, are you gonna, you know what I'm saying? Are you gonna keep going? Or, so it was a lot of like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be grateful, but no, I shouldn't be grateful because I'm da-da-da. So it was a lot of like fighting and stuff. And like I said, even with the interview that I did, I had like a good hour in the bathroom with my makeup artist, my PR, and my other management, and I was having like really bad cause I'll go into like a blackout moment where I'm like on the floor. If it's not my best friend's voice or my mom's voice, like you really can't get through to me. So it's like I was going through that even before like interviews or just on stage. I'll like, even talking about it, like I do feel myself a little fidgety, but there's times where I wasn't in control of my emotions, or it'll come off as aggressive, or I'll come off as like what's wrong with her, so that definitely played with me.
Before we because I know it's very sensitive, but I don't need you to explain the moment, but explain the song for people who are new to this, what that song is about.
Who Changed was about like understand, like for the people close to me. It wasn't really for the public. That song was really for my like friends around the situation to also understand like who really changed. Was it just the circumstances around me, or now y'all looking at me like y'all forgetting that I'm going through something, and then y'all just seeing like, oh yeah, but she signed, so she's okay. So we was just talking about, I could trauma dump on her. I could call her to help me out with things, but like nobody's really calling me to check on me. It just seems like, oh, well, you look okay. Yeah, well, I'm okay because like for an audience, this is Melii and Audrey are not the same. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like the same baddie is in the picture. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I want to show. I want to be a strong, I'm supposed to be leading, but in a way, it just felt like, yo, you guys are like so close to me. And like, it seems like you are the guys changing while y'all telling me that I'm changing, but I'm changing because I don't understand myself. And also there's things changing around me, but the people that's supposed to like remind me who I am aren't acting the same.
Right. And that's what I always tell people, because it's, when you get into like a different tier of the industry, right? When you reach a level of success, I tell people all the time, everyone says that you changed.
Yeah.
Like it's you, like you're acting like this way, or but I feel like it's the people around you, like they the way they perceive you changes. So now they're seeing you as Melii. So they may feel like, well, you owe me XYZ.
Yeah, or you acting like this, or da-da-da.
Or you acting bougie, or, or whatever, So how do you deal with that now? Because I feel like now, like I said, there is a lot of growth in you. So I feel like you reach like a comfort, like you're at peace.
Yeah,
with
I'm
it
definitely
all.
at peace with myself. That's definitely what it is. I'm very at peace. I feel like the way, I can't say that before I was definitely more of a people pleaser, So now, like, if I learned to be my own friend before expecting others to be my friend or understand me. So I also had to understand, like, hey, like, I'm not always going to explain myself. If I have time or if I have the mental capacity, I'll explain myself. But you're also going to have to understand, maybe the day that I do decide to explain myself, you're not gonna want to hear it. So maybe that conversation will never happen, and then either you pop up on me or I see you and we wave or whatever the case may be. But I'm okay with not being heard. I'm okay with not having closure. I'm okay with, like, oh, you're mad at me, get over it. Hit me up when you're good. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with, oh, I want to tell you something, da-da-da, and just being like, like, I respect how you feel. I'm not sure like what I did to make you feel like this, but I'm in a very comfortable place in my life where it's like, if I'm so comfortable right now and whatever I'm doing is bothering you, then that means that we've outgrown each other. You don't need to be around me, and I'm not the friend that, like, once you cancel on me, I'm good. Like, I'm good. I'm not the friend that's gonna be like, why did you cancel? Oh, I haven't seen you, da-da-da. Like, I just saw my other friend the other day. He's like, yo, like, I haven't seen you in that long. I played around. I was like, oh, look who's here. But then I told him, I was like, yo, don't ever feel like you have to be nervous to come back around. Because that's how friendships, like, go to dust. Because then it's like, oh, I haven't been around them for a minute. I can't come. Nah, that's not what friendship's about. We friends, we family. Like, you come back around when you good, because that's the same grace that I would want you to have for me.
What's one relationship that you haven't healed from that you would like to heal from?
There's definitely one. It's very recent, but not healing in a way where it's like, oh, I can't get over the situation or whatever. But more so, I'm still healing from having like somebody who's been in my life and played like a family role too, to also not be in my life anymore.
But you would still want to like tap in and just, or you're,
I don't know. I feel like I'm healing from it, but I've become so like detached from others that I'm like kind of not saying that I'm like, okay, go ahead, and I'm not gonna feel nothing, but more so like, I understand life. Maybe you need to come back around in 3 more years when we could communicate.
Yeah, different space. What about your experience with mental health support in your family? Like, were they receptive and open to you, like, saying, like, well, I'm not feeling okay today? Like, did they give you that support?
I feel like just recently I got to speak to my cousins, because we have like a whole group chat. And I got to explain to them, because we all have our boss moments, but we have our low moments. And there's times where I'm like away for a long time, where I'm not seeing none of my friends, I'm not around my mom or my family. And being honest and vulnerable right now, I had text my mom, my dad, and my whole like the group of cousins that I had, and I said, pray for me. And they was like, because I'm good at praying. I'm good, I'm usually like one of the friends that my friends call, like, yo, you want to pray? But I was like, right now, I'm not in a space to pray for myself and believe it, or tap into who I'm, you know what I'm saying, or who I'm praying to. So pray for me. And like the day after, I said, hey guys, like whoever prayed for me, they was like, okay, we got you or whatever. And I said, thank you. And I like broke it down, like there's times where my head is too busy, where I can't concentrate, or like I'm having episodes where my anxiety is playing tricks on me, or like I feel like it's not me, you know what I'm saying? So they've just now understand that. But my mom, like, I feel like she's, from the time period that I did have like that switch of like, oh, she's not the same no more. She did like tread lightly with me. She became more softer, because my mom has always been like a stern, like fuerte woman. But she did become like more like, like she'll tell my best friend like, déjala. Like there's times where I'll be arguing with my best friend. I'm like, why am I going so hard and stuff? Or I'm arguing with her, and they'll look at each other like, but I had to like process that, like, okay, I can't be acting all crazy and stuff. I gotta, but I feel like my people around me definitely understood that.
What about in the music industry? Because I have often heard you say like, well, people look at me crazy. Like, what's that? So why do you feel like you have that stigma in the music industry? Which, by the way, you're human, by the way. Yes. So like, I don't think anyone looks at you crazy, but you've said it in
No, interviews. I think I throw that word out like freely. I don't think people say, oh, you're crazy or whatever. But I mean, I do think sometimes people be like, she's crazy for saying that, or like she's crazy because she that don't care. Like, why would she say that? You know what I'm saying? But I definitely feel like before everything, I was very much open about it. but I played it off very well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was on tour with Summer Walker. So being on the tour with Summer and like people also understanding like her personality on like she's a wild girl, but
Mm-hmm.
she still has anxiety. She has like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
she'll get nervous and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So I feel like in the industry having somebody like Summer like really like stamp the whole movement and stuff, I feel like I'm not really being looked at as that thing because I feel like, again, you just said the pandemic. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that it was only us who actually got into like,
No.
you know what I'm saying?
It
So I
was,
feel
yeah.
like the world has become a place where it's like more open to things where it's like you know, like a big celebrity that's
Mm-hmm.
going on a rant would be like, oh, they're just having an episode as to, oh, they're crazy. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I feel like the world has shifted a lot, and mental health has been um like like a kind of like a what's that, like a domino effect where
Mm-hmm.
people felt more like open about
Yeah,
it,
they're
and
talking about it. They're being
and
vocal.
being more educated on the things, because you could like say when you think about bipolar people,
Mm-hmm.
I used to think like bipolar people was just people that be sitting down and they'll go or you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
But
yeah.
once you get to realize like what bipolar like the disorder is, you'll be like, oh, okay, because I think even Selena Gomez, I'm
Mm-hmm.
mistaken,
Selena Gomez.
she was open about that, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, like I said, like I feel like it's become a domino effect to be more open to researching, like, okay, there's different stages, how
There's
you said,
tears. Yeah.
dementia, right? And then
Yeah, and
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What about like, so you go on tour with Summer Walker. What is the difference between the energy
Yeah.
going on tour with Summer Walker versus like going on tour with Meek Mill?
The energy was definitely that it was women. There was
Mm-hmm.
more women around. Um, Summer was very kind. Like she was like, hey, like I booked you a appointment, a massage. Like most of the time I couldn't make it because we
Right.
had like just
You
tour
missed
stuff.
the spa day.
Girl, we had tour stuff because
What?
on tour anything could happen.
Right.
Literally, like you just gotta be prepared. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
But with Summer, it was definitely, I felt like the crowd was different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's all obviously different crowds. We definitely like we really only saw each other once
Mm-hmm.
on tour because, like I said, tour is crazy. But it definitely the second time prepared me from the first one.
Mm-hmm. And are you signed? I keep asking myself this because I remember one time you were signed with
Mhm.
Interscope.
Yes.
Are you still with Interscope?
No, I'm not with Interscope. So I'm an
Okay.
independent artist, and I'm like with them right now doing
Am I
distribution.
allowed to ask what happened there?
Um, honestly, with Interscope, it was a lot. Just like with my own team at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it like a mutual, like everyone
No,
kumbaya it
yeah.
out? And
Everything was definitely kumbaya. I was with Tori and stuff, so it
okay.
was a very kumbaya stuff.
So now what are you looking to get signed or are you just gonna stay independent? What's the
Um,
vibes?
right now the
Mhm.
vibes is I'm open to it
You got
now.
sassy there. She said the vibes
The vibes are
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very open to it, you know, because
Mhm.
there's like I said, like the industry, even though there's times I'm like, the industry, da, da, da. The industry
Mhm.
doesn't equal everyone in it. So I feel like even when labels are like reaching out or like different opportunities are coming to the table, I'm still open to it because it could be different with anyone, you know?
That's a
But
fact.
I'm honestly at a place where like I don't think people understand me enough, but when I got signed, I felt like I was thrown out to the lions. Like
What do you mean by that? What do you mean you was thrown out? What?
because like it was a great opportunity, but
Mhm.
again, what I was going through mentally,
Right.
I couldn't process a lot of things. There was times where you'll be like, oh, can I talk to Melii? I'll be like, you take it. Or I'll be like,
Yeah.
or you put a mic in front of me, I'll be like, I'd rather be doing this. Like, you handle that, da da da. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It was like, I wasn't, I wasn't 100% like in control of who I was or what I was doing. I was kind of just going with it and just going with the flow. But then also the sassy person inside of me was also like, I'm gonna stand because I'm women empowerment and all this extra stuff. But it's more so like now that I'm grown, it's like, okay, like you need to chill.
Mhm.
Hold on, hold up. No, say how you feel. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's where I'm at.
But did you feel like you couldn't, like you were not allowed to be vocal during those times?
I felt like I wasn't
Okay.
because I was seen as she's bugging or she's not listening. And I grew up with my parents like, you're not listening, we're just gonna send you.
Right.
Or, oh, you're the rebel. So automatically I already came into it like, oh, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, like, it wasn't that my label was bad, because they wasn't. Like, they actually held me down a lot. And it was more so like they had a vision for me, but I wasn't as like I wasn't as open to just doing one thing, because I knew I had so many pockets. So that was one of the reasons also why I cried during Icey, because I'm like, oh my God, I don't want them to feel like I'm just like, quote unquote, a mumble rapper, because that's how I would see that song. You know what I'm saying? So I also had to understand what it meant to go up the steps, because a lot of times I was going up one step, but then now you have Rihanna over there, and then people would think I'm like 50 steps. So now it's like, well, scratch all of this, because now the formula, you know what I'm saying? Like what I'm supposed to be doing wasn't like, I'll be like, no, like I want to sing. No, but you have to rap. But I want to sing. You have to rap. So the rebel in me would be in the studio like, well, no, I don't want to rap. But in reality, it wasn't that I was being a rebel. I felt more pressure to do something that I was doing freely, when you have like a label behind you, like, well, you have to do this or da da da, because now it's like school in a way.
Yeah.
It's like
So
assignments
what
and
is
being
the
done.
vision for yourself now?
The vision right now is, that's what I was getting to. I stepped into one body, one soul, one mind. I
like that.
I was very,
Okay.
it was like 3 different, but I feel like I've learned to appreciate life. I've learned to understand what's a moment, what's here for good, what's not, you know? So I feel like when it comes to my career, I'm back to just loving what I do and doing it freely, and wanting to just release music to just connect. Because if it was up to me, I would just perform my whole life, like, for free. Like, I want to be on this stage. Okay, like, y'all got a slot, bet I'm coming in. You know what I'm saying? Because what means more to me is seeing like my support system, which is the Melii mob. You know what I'm saying? And also like knowing that, like, yo, I'm doing something for others. Like, I like to feel like I'm helping. So that's like one thing about me. Like, if it was up to me, I'll just be performing and that's it. But I'm really coming into myself and understanding like how I really want to introduce myself to the world.
Melii, you so grown now.
Thank you.
That's that divine energy.
Yes.
That is that divine energy.
Medusa EP.
Listen, because I heard that song and I was like, ooh, Melii is really,
like,
your energy is different now. It feels good?
Yeah, I feel great.
Yeah?
I feel great.
I love this for you.
Thank you.
I love this. So, okay, we're in Q4 now. So Q4 and then 2023, what do we have coming up?
So I definitely have more consistency, like, coming up with my career and stuff like that. Like, just releasing music and also listening to what my audience wants. So, I've been like doing little snippets here and there. So whatever like my audience wants, like, that's what I'm here to deliver. I'm more so like, I feel like it's just me and the Melii mob right now. Like, it's just me and them that I'm focused on. I'm not focused on numbers, the dramas, or who's this or who's that. I'm focused on like what my fans want to hear, because when I hit the stage, I want to be able to be like, so that's what I'm on.
All right. So Melii, you and I, when we first met, we did the quickest interview I've ever done. We're going to do it one more time.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. And don't tell me that I should be quicker. Don't do that.
Okay.
Let me ask my questions and then. All right.
Okay.
All right. Tell me you're Latina without telling me you're Latina.
Tres golpes.
Ooh. With the avocate?
Oh, yeah.
That one hits different, right?
That one hits different.
That one hits different. What's your favorite Spanish food?
Arroz con maíz y pollo guisado.
Ooh, I love that. Okay. What's one thing you need in the morning? Come on. And then you're going to say, I need to be
I
quicker.
know. I don't know.
You're going to say, I need to be quicker.
It needs to be cold air 24/7. So
Okay.
that's something I need in the morning.
What's the last movie that made you cry with laughter?
With laughter?
There got to be one.
With laughter?
Yeah. That is so funny. It makes you cry.
Oh, like it makes me, okay.
Like it's hilarious that it makes you cry.
I haven't seen a movie that's that funny yet. I'm sorry.
No?
Mm-mm.
Not one stand-up comedy. Not one.
I mean, The Office, but that's not. The Office is what makes me like cry.
Okay. If you had the Last Supper with 3 Latinas, who would you pick?
With 3 Latinas?
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely pick Paquita del Barrio.
Okay.
La India.
Ooh.
And Miriam Cruz.
I need to be a part of that dinner.
Right? That would be fire.
Shout out to Melii. Thank you so much for coming on Growing Up Latina. Any last things you want to tell your fans?
Stay tuned for the music. Thank you for sticking with me. I love y'all, and y'all are really my family. So shout out to the Melii Mob.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, love.
Thank you so much.